Welcome once again. Last time we talked about the various data types, and we explained what data types are. And this is the third lesson in Python. We're going to be getting our hands dirty with codes. But before that, I forgot in the last lesson, I forgot to um, take us through the process of getting our IDE. Don't forget, I said IDE is Integrated Development Environment. It's just like an environment where you um, write your codes, you know, when you write your Python codes, and other codes that may be. So I'm going to take us through the process of getting our ID set on our device. If you are using a system, a computer system, be it laptop or desktop, let's head up to google.com and say, pardon me if you're not seeing clearly. Let me try and zoom a little bit. So, okay, I think this should be good. Let's try to get VS Code. I told you I recommended VS Code basically because last time I spoke about VS Code, and I'm still recommending it basically because it's easy to use. It has a very beautiful user interface, and a lot of it comes pre-bundled with lots of pre-bundled with uh, lot of modules, lot of uh, how will I put this? Updates, extensions. It comes packaged with so many extensions. So I'm going to be recommending VS Code. So head up to google.com and type VS Code download. So it takes us to Visual Studio Code. That is HTTPS um, colon forward slash code dot visual studio code. So just click the very first thing you see. You know, of course, it has various operating system compliance. If you're on Windows, be it Windows 8, Windows 10, and Windows 11, this is how you can install it. And you can just click here. If you're using uh, Linux system, say from Debian distros. If you're using Debian distros, say you can use or Ubuntu distros, Debian or Ubuntu distros, you can use .deb to install it. And of course, if you are using Red Hat, Fedora, SUSE, and this is what you install. Then, if you are using Mac, this is your own um, uh, method of installing. You just click here. It's as simple as click here. You can download directly. Of course, it should recognize your operating systems. But I have it. I don't need to download Visual Studio Code because I have it already. And for those that will be using mobile device, I think in the Discord, the admins they sent um, the how you are going to be running your code via mobile device. And I think there was a screenshot or a screen recorded video sent to the group on Discord to explain how you could navigate and how you would be able to run your code using a mobile device. But if you're unable to do that, you can still go to www.replits.com. Let me zoom a little bit so that you can see what I'm trying to show you. Uh, Replits.com. Okay, sorry, there's a typo error. There's no heads there. It's a Replits.com. Yes. So when you get to Replit.com, Replit is kind of cloud based, which means it's internet compliance. So you can just sign up to Replit. It's free. Of course, there's a pricing method, but you don't need to pay anything. You can say continue with email. Click on continue with email. Create account. So after create account, let's say um, okay. Let me create an account. Let me use this account. Let me say uh, I'll put my password. Okay, so that I can take you through the process. So creating an account is loading right now. Let's wait for it to load up. Okay, so I'm on Replit. This is Replit. Of course, it's very good as it comes um, embedded with dark theme, which makes it better for your site. And if it doesn't come with dark theme, of course, you should try to change it to dark theme. I can show you that also as well. So you can click for personal use. Uh, you can say new to coding, beginner, blah 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 blah. Uh, just say new to coding. I don't know when they started in, uh, to take me through the home page to explore on my own, pick a tutorial and make some things. No, take me to the home page to explore my. Or you can just click here. You can click skip. Okay, so when you get to Replit, you can close this. The first thing to do is you can as well close this. The first thing to do is you create a repo. You can create a repo. So by creating a repo, because you're running a Python code, you can just click this. You know, you can just give it say lesson lesson 3 as a way of creating folder. Always always give your put your file name or folder name in lowercase. It is recommended. So create repo. Just wait for it to load. So after creating repo, uh, welcome to workspace. Don't worry. So let me zoom a little bit. Uh, so I have a very good visual effect of what I'm trying to do. So I've created repo. You can start to run your code. You can do whatever. You can do whatever. You can do whatever. So you can create a new folder. The one I created before is sorry, it's not a folder. It's a kind of a workspace. You can create a folder. You can call it lesson. You can as well call it lesson one. Then you can uh, create another file. And remember, this is a file here. And if you're creating a file to write a Python code, always remember at the end of your file name, just put .py. .py is the extension, is an extension file uh, for Python. Like we have like in text file, a text file, we have .txt, uh, like we have in JavaScript to have .js, like we have in HTML .html. Those are just extension to depict the file name. You understand? So in Python it is .py. So let's say you can name your file anyhow, but always follow the convention of using lowercase. It helps you a lot in the long run, and you know it is most recommended anyways. So let's say you can say for lesson one dot py. My reason using that is just to follow the convention of or for me to be able to identify the last file I worked on, so that I won't, because by the time you start working on so many files, you may lose track of the file you're working on. So um, in order for you not to lose file, I would recommend that you name your file as according to your as according to the name of your folder, so as to not to lose track of your file. And that is that. Then this is for those that are unable to download the what is applicable to them, for those using mobile device. So if they are not able to download what is applicable to them, or what can be used um, using a mobile device to run their Python code, so you can just come to replit.com. Of course, you saw how I navigated through the uh, site. And of course, if you don't understand, or if by adventure you lost track of how I got here, you can just play back and go through the whole process again. And The second time, I believe you should have a grasp of what I did. Then, for those that are that have a system or a monitor or a laptop, can as well go to, after downloading the uh, VS Code, it will bring you to a page like this. It will bring you to a page like this, kind of a welcome page. I hope the screen is still better, because I believe most of you complained the last time that the screens were bit, and the write up on the screen were not visible enough. So I think this should be okay. And if it's not okay still, please call my attention to it. Now, when you have it will bring you to a page like this, which shows ignore this. I am having this because I am not just downloading VS Code. I have used I've used VS Code before. Of course, I have it downloaded and I've worked on several files, so it will show my recent files. So you don't need to do all this. You don't If you don't see all this, just know that it's because we're just downloading VS Code. Then, um, uh, that being said, so when you get here, just know that the first thing you're gonna be doing is to open a folder for a project you'll be working on. Say create a folder, you can just click here, uh, say select a folder. You don't need to select a folder. You don't have a folder already. You can just click, right click, new, create a folder. Let's name it lesson one, or say lesson three, because we are in a third lesson, of course. Lesson three. Select folder, no, create it here, select folder. Now the folder is created, of course. Automatically, VS Code, you automatically take it or pick it up, because you try to create a folder directly from VS Code itself. So you can close this. You have no use for that anymore. So you can just create file. You will see a tray by this left hand side. This tray is big, like it's big this way. Is bigger because I zoomed it out. I try to zoom it out. So if I have to zoom it in, say, if I zoom it in, you'll see that the tray on this left hand side we collapse. It will collapse. So if your tray is missing, you can just click on, it's missing, and you can just click on this. It will let me zoom out so that you can see what I clicked. If you don't see your tray by this right hand side, I mean left hand side, you can just click on this double file explorer system here to bring out the tray. you know so then that being said, you can just click on this and create a file. So we can call our file name to be, like I said before, always try to maintain uh, simplicity while creating or working on your while working on Python code, or while trying to create a file or folder, or trying to uh, name your variables. Like I said, while we started, or prior to now when we began our first lesson. Always maintain simplicity. So lesson 3.py, remember, I said .py is the file extension name for Python. So create a file. So by creating a file, you can additional views. So okay, yeah, because the screen is big now, so it's try to shrink uh, some uh, some icons. Some icons were shrunk. But if you are on the system, you can, let me just zoom in so that it will show those icons that are missing. Yes, what I'm looking for is four uh this icon here. This icon here is called extensions. Now in this extension, you can you need pylons. um you can get pylons. You get it installed. I have it installed already. You understand? You can have IntelliSense, IntelliSense, uh, IntelliSense. You install that. You get IntelliCode and all those extensions that makes um, your code formatting systems to be perfect. But that being said, let me let me zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Okay, so I think you won't have any difficulty here while I run my code. Now, we're gonna be starting with string. Remember, when we mentioned uh, types of primitive um, data types, I told you, if you can remember, I told us that primitive data, I mean, data types are subdivided into two. We have the primitive data types and non-primitive data types, and of course, non-primitive data types is also subdivided into two. We have the uh, linear, of course, and non-linear. And under linear, we have static and dynamics. An example of static linear uh, data type is we have um, example of that. We have array, and we have that is the static, and the dynamic part we have linked list. Then, if you're talking about non-linear, we have the tree and the graph. So that is not our concern now, because we are gonna be getting there soon. But right now we're going to be talking about the primitive. You're going to be dealing with the primitive. So those ones are just the intermediate slash advanced level. So we got starting from the very beginning, so that we'll be able to follow along in our as we progress. So later on in our lesson, we're going to be dealing with that too. But we are starting off with the primitive data types. So I gave several primitive data types, and of course, one of which is strings. And of course, we're going to be starting with strings. Now, if you can remember, I told you that strings are just words. You can say strings in Python are identified as a contiguous set of characters represented in quotation marks. If you can remember, anything can be string. By contiguous, it means they are side by side, things that are side by side. And side by side means there's no space in between. In Python or other languages, any space is called white space. Any space at all, like this AHF, the space in between is called what? White space. And I told us how to comment out our code by by using a hash key. We're commenting out our code. So let me reiterate what I said before. I said strings in Python are identified as a kind of contiguous set of characters represented in a quotation mark. So let me give an example. Say uh, hello world, hello world. This is a string. Of course, this is uh, the first uh, the first thing to come across as a programmer. Generally, this is the first thing we all tend to code out. Hello world, hello world, hello everybody, hello world. I'm coming into programming. Hello world, I'm doing this. Hello world, I'm about to be a programmer and stuff. So if I want to print this out in a console, I can just say uh, print is as simple as saying print print this or print this. And if I hit run, hello world. Hello world is what? Printed. As far as I'm concerned, by doing just this, congratulations, you are a Python programmer. You have started coding in Python. This is the first stage. In fact, Elon Musk started from saying hello world. Um, Bill Gates started from saying hello world, and all those big programmers that you've learned or you've heard about started with hello world. So for doing this alone, you are a programmer. You have been inducted into uh, the profession of programming. Congratulations. And of course, don't get too excited. We have lots more to do anyways. So, and I taught us about if you can remember, I said something about this quotation. I said, regardless of what you use, you can use single quotes in to replace double quote. You can use single quote. It will still print out the same thing. If you say hello world, it prints out the same thing. You can use you can use um, three uh, triple code. I mean triple quotes, triple quotation mark. The essence of using triple quotation mark is because your code has gone in multi lines. For every code, there's a line, and those lines are numbered. You will see this is one. If I try to go to another line, it will give two. So Python and IDE recognize, in fact, languages generally and IDEs recognizes that every line has a code. So for every code you write on every line, it is numbered, and it's even important in trying to debug any errors or whatsoever you may find in your code. So let's say uh, we have run this successfully. Now I talked about, if you can remember, I talked about variables. What was variables? Variables, of course, is if you can remember, I said it's a kind of container that that you kind of vault for your data. Now, for your data, sorry, a vault in the sense that it is where you keep your data. Now let's assume I want to make reference to um hello world. Let me use this. Let me comment this out. Let me say you want to make a reference to hello world. Let's say uh in this case I don't want to use hello world. Let me say hello um hello hello Timson. You understand? Let me say hello Timson, and I want to say something like um so, sorry, excuse me. I want to say something like let me go another line. I want to say something like hmm, print print uh, hello hello Timson. Hello Timson. Hello Timson. uh it is nice meeting you. Let me write it out in full. Hello Timson. It is nice it is nice meeting you. If you take a look at this is a complete statement. So if I say hello Timson, it is nice meeting you. If I print it, sorry, syntax error. Sorry. Hello Timson. It is nice meeting you. Yeah, what's wrong? It is nice. Print hello Timson. It's nice meeting you. Yeah, what's wrong? Okay, sorry, excuse me. Um, that should be. Sorry. Okay, okay. Let me use a double quote instead. Maybe that. Okay. Let me comment out this. What's wrong? Okay. Syntax error. Where is that? Python is okay. don't know. He's saying another thing. Okay. Hello, Timson. It is nice meeting you. If I try to run this code, it shouldn't be showing error anyways. I don't know why it is showing error because this is an accurate a syntax uh, syntactically accurate. So I don't expect it to show any form of error. But I think it has something to do with my indentation error, unexpected indent. Okay, did I indent? No, I didn't indent anything. I think indent is uh, syntax error. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom in so that I can see what is just wrong. Uh, yeah. Let me check that thing. Say, nice meeting you. P1. That should be an ID error, anyways, because the code is. Uh, okay. Trying to. Uh, let me see. Couldn't have been this comma. Yes, line one. Oh, let me see. Sorry, I was in another console. So I had to exit. You see me type exit. So I had to exit out of the console. I'm sorry about that. Uh, so hello, Timsy. It's nice meeting you. This I told you, like I said before, is syntactically correct. Let me try to zoom out. So it's syntactically correct. Uh, so yeah, from let me drag this down. Sorry. Let me close it. So you will see that I had to be so verbose with this. Um, the concept of variable is what I want to try to picture out here. You can see this hello team scene. I can represent it with a variable rather than just printing it out like this. Let's say, um, let me try to let me try to store this hello team scene in a variable. Let's say name equals hello team scene. Name equals hello team scene. Yeah, if I'm to print the statement here, I don't have to type hello team C again. What will I do? I just have to what? Replace the variable. They replace the hello team C with the name of the variable, which is name. You understand? And then what? Put this in a what? In a string. Now you will see that the moment I remove the quotation mark, the IDE is telling me, Python is telling me that come, there's an error here. I recognize this. Yes, it's a variable. I recognize this is a variable. I don't understand this. I understand this that yes, uh, you're trying to express a string for me, a string quotation, a string here using quotation mark. But I don't understand why it is not here. I don't understand why it is not here. You understand? You will see the ID of Pylons is showing me a quick fix, but I'm not gonna use the quick fix because I know the quick fix is just for you to add your what um, or quotation mark. Why did I put quotation mark here? Why don't I put it here? Because if you see the variable, the data in the variable that is stored in the variable is already what in is already a string. So you don't need to put quotation mark. You don't have to put the variable in a quotation mark at all because the variable is carrying a data and the data is represented. I mean, it's representing the data that is stored in it. And of course, this one uh, has no variable. It is not stored in any data, so it is expected that I put what quotation mark. So if I run it, it will show, "Hello, Timson. It is nice meeting you," just the way it did before. You understand? And of course, as well, I can as well run these. I can as well run these. I can say I can store these too in a variable. In a variable, let me store. It is nice meeting you. Let me call it variable greeting. You can call your variable any name. Variable greeting. Let's call it. Say, okay, it is nice meeting you. Of course, it is nice meeting you. It is nice meeting you. Now, here, what do we have here? We have what? Greeting. You will see that it is without an error. So I don't have to put variable. You don't put, mind you, always remember, you don't put variable in quotation, because the data in it is representing the data that is being stored in it. So you don't need to put you don't need to tell Python, okay, this is the kind of data, by putting quotation mark. By putting this quotation mark, you are telling Python that this data type is what? String. But here, Python recognizes that yes, this variable is representing the data type that is stored in it. So you don't need to put it. So if I run this, it will do the same thing that I've been doing, writing hard coding the data type. Look at, said, "Hello, Timson. It is nice meeting you." Now I want you to observe something. Look at here. Look at here. I If you look at this place, I stored I sorry I stored the content in a variable, yes, and I use a single quotation because um I wanted to use, instead of writing out "it is," I wanted to shorten it to "it." You understand? But because I'm using a kind of a quotation, a single quotation mark here to depict "it is," I have to, outside the data type, I have to use double. If I use single outside, it means I have to use double here, and if I use double here, it amounts to nothing. So I have to use double outside and what, uh single inside. But if I try to say, okay, I want to use single quote, if I try to say I want to use single quote, I say I want to use single quote, it will be showing what? Error. Why? Because instead of running this, Python is recognizing these two. You understand? Except I cancel out this and I write the "it is" in full. But the moment I try to abbreviate it by using using question mark, I mean, sorry, I said question mark, using quotation mark to depict "it is," to shorten "it is" to "it," then I have to use outside, at the beginning and end of the data type, I have to what? Use I have to use double quote. That is it. I hope you understand. If I run it, of course, it will give the same thing, except that I put a single quote here. It will show an error, and the error we print. Let's try it, and so that you can have um, an understanding of what I'm saying. If I try to run it, it will show an error, and it said at line 2, syntax error, unterminated string literal detected at what? Line 2. Let's take a look at it. You see line 2. So Python is, I mean, the IDE is making it easy for us to what? To dictate where our error is by giving each line a number. So, and of course, Python will tell you where the line is. So that is the essence of what? Lines of code. You understand? Like I was explaining. So that is that. So if you want to use this style, you can just put a word, double quotation at the beginning and end of the word string, and that's all. That settles it. If I run it, it will not show us any error. You understand? So that being said, I think we have an understanding of that. But I want to explain something after this class, because this string is I still have to take I still have to because for every data types I will treat it in depthly. I will not take it at the peripheral level. I will treat it so in depthly that you will have an understanding of it. So I want you to keep trying, uh, keep writing strings, studying it in a variable, be doing whatsoever thing, be manipulating whatsoever thing you'll be manipulating using string. You can try yourself, you can say, it's nice meeting my friend. You can just do some funny things, and by so doing, you will keep you will be having an understanding of how coding is. This is coding as far as this is coding as far as programming is concerned, as far as Python is concerned. These are, you know your first stages, and of course string. And in the next class we're still going to be dealing with string, because we still have to talk about string concatenation, uh, how to manipulate strings, how to slice strings, string slicing, and all that. So I want to touch string more in depthly, and each of the data type will be dealt with more in depthly, so that I'll go in depth into um, all of the data types. So I won't touch it at the peripheral level. I won't touch it at the top level. I won't just scrape it. I will go in depth. I want to appreciate you for having the time to attend this class. I want to appreciate you for watching this video. And if you have any question, you can of course uh, ask me in the comment section, and I will try my best to respond to it. And if you have any observation, as to, of course, I or review, of course, I welcome every review. And I want to point out something. I'm sorry, you might be saying that I'm not editing my videos. I don't edit videos. I don't want to edit videos. I want to give it you raw. I don't want a situation whereby I want to have this kind of I want to engage you, rather than editing videos, and it will now look as if it will not look real. It will look like an AI modified file system, or AI modified teaching. I want you to have a feeling of a classroom. I want you to have a feeling of human touch. So I want you to have the feeling that it's human being that is doing it. So for every mistake I make, you will see all those mistakes, so that if you run into such mistakes, you will be able to uh, correct yourself. And of course you won't feel that you are just making mistakes. You won't feel, of course, if I can make mistakes in your presence, I don't want you to have a video or a lecture where you will see that it's one superhuman that is teaching you. I want you to just see the person teaching you as just human like you. So for every mistakes I make, it will be shown to you. You will see every mistakes I make, so that you will not have a bad feeling about yourself when you start making mistakes. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. God bless.